How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? You know the song and all that thing that I normally say at the beginning of every show. It's not really the weekend. It's the James Freel show, though, nonetheless. How's your week going? My week went all right. One of those short 4-day weeks, but now it's already Sunday. Where does the weekend go? Although it's only 1:15 in the afternoon, so still got enough time to get some stuff done. I figured I'd knock this out of the way. I almost did this yesterday, but sometimes I get lazy. It was kind of an exhaustive day yesterday. Anyway. How many times have I probably said anyway on the show? How many times do you pick up something irrelevant to say when you're doing it yesterday? Weather's been pretty nice. Am I really talking about the weather? Yes, I am. Before I get into rambling, this show sucks. How far am I in? I'm only a minute and 20 seconds in. This show really sucks already. Anyway. Before we jump into me rambling about my week, let's go ahead and do news for the uninformed. Trump tells the UK he wouldn't pay $50 billion Brexit divorce bill. That's interesting. A Maryland couple was found dead in their Dominican Republic hotel room. That's a bummer. USS John McCain request made direct to 7th Fleet. Apparently Trump this week asked that the USS John McCain be kept out of sight while he was there, and if so, that's really petty. That just makes Trump look really, really dumb. In sports, Toronto is up 1-0, and I'm gonna watch the rest of that game tonight. It should be not the rest of the game. Game 2 tonight in the NBA Finals, and Boston Bruins are up 2-1. I think the Bruins are gonna. Man, how much would it suck to be the Celtics? I was rooting for the Boston Slam to happen. I thought it would have been an exciting thing to be like, geez, Boston winning all of it. That one sports YouTube channel, which I think is the best way to get your sports news, Urinating Tree, did a video where he said, "Are you aware that there are actually 3-month-olds in Boston who have never gotten to experience the joy of having their city bring home a championship?" And I'm like, that's so true. That really sucks. You know what I hate about being in Cincinnati is they won the World Series right before I was born, so I really can't complain, because I think there are other cities that may have won stuff before that. Hold on, let me take a look here really quick. Atlanta last Atlanta champion. I feel like Atlanta hasn't won. Oh, they won the 1995 World Series. Well, that would have been even worse, because then it would even be in my lifetime. But I wouldn't have been able to do anything about it. What's going on in pop culture? I think there might have been, and someone might be coming in right now. I may have to end this. We will see. On pop culture news. Let's see what we got here. I always used to go to NBCnews.com. And it's always this one. These Instagram playgrounds are taking over U.S. cities. I don't care about that. Muses from the Mona... that's no good. Meet the youngest spellmaker ever to complete the trifecta film. Spacey's lawyers win access to accuser's text, cell phone records. Nearly 1 in 5 studio films had LGBTQ characters in 2018, report finds. There you go. That's progress, right? I think I did see Trump made that tweet this week about celebrating the LGBT community, and people were not happy about it. Oh man, that is kind of. I wonder if that irritates anyone in the LGBT community that he's the first president to go into office supporting gay marriage. That must be that's probably annoying. Okay, so this week's show. Last week was Memorial Day weekend. I did this on a Sunday, and I drank too much that weekend. So you know what I decided? I'm taking 100 days off. And it works out perfectly because the last day I didn't have a drink, it was 100 days until football season. So I just gotta ride this out until that is done. The unfortunate thing is it is a vice that I enjoy, and so I gotta fill that void with something. And I've been trying different things. I tried coffee, but that just makes it hard for me to sleep. And like yesterday, and then how many days in a row have I had soda now? I think. Although yesterday I got those like small sodas, those ones that are like 7.5 ounces of Coca-Cola. When it's in small doses like that, it's not bad. Just gotta drink a lot of water afterwards. Last night I was watching that television show, Boy Meets World. I haven't seen that in years. I was never like a fanboy of it the way a lot of people can be, and I'm not dissing it. I actually tend to enjoy that show. It is funny how the 90s change, or just how different things are different. Really, James, are different things different? I don't know if that's really a sustainable point of view. On Friday night, I went over to a friend's house, the guy who's going to be my best man, and so here's the thing. Me and him have a long history of playing each other in Madden, and I am going to be 100% honest here, and he won't believe me, and that's fine. But we have a long history of playing Madden, and he sometimes, how do I say this? He can get kind of irritated sometimes, and the thing is, I'm a lot better than he is. I am. I play the game more. I know what I'm doing. I'm better than him. So whenever I'm starting to take a crazy good lead, I would always like take my foot off the gas a little bit to keep it interesting, because it's not fun to play when one dude's up like 14 to, or someone's up 24 to 0. It's just not fun. So I always keep him at least within a score, and sometimes that would backfire because I would want to make the game challenging for myself. Hold on just a second. I'd want to make the game more difficult and challenging myself, so I would wait until the very end to where I'm down by like 6 points with a minute 15 left and see if I could take it on or make a comeback. And sometimes I could, but more often than not I couldn't. So in his head, he's won a lot. And I guess that kind of is a mean thing to do. In retrospect, it really is. But now, he's got himself convinced that he's better than me. That he's like significantly better than me. And I'm like, listen, man, I don't mean to be a jerk, but you get kind of aggravated when I'm beating you, so I like to keep it close. And he's doing the whole, oh, you're just saying that, man. You're just saying that. You're just a sore loser. I'm like, no, really. I am significantly better than you, and if we played 10 times in a row, I can guarantee you I'd beat you 10 times. I'd be 10-0. And he doesn't believe it, and so I'm like, man, we have a good thing going right here. We can keep this going. We can keep playing the way we play now, where you get aggravated, and I let off the gas, and the game stays fun, and we have a good time. Everyone goes home happy. Or we can start this 10-game streak where I beat you 10 games in a row. It's really your call. And that we had that conversation like months ago. And I told him, dude, you can screenshot. You can screenshot these texts. I am dead serious. I will beat you 10 games in a row. In fact, I will clobber you 10 games in a row. And basically, we get there, and I bring Madden, and he starts to backpedal a little bit. And I don't know, he's playing, he's like, dude, I just want to play, I think it'll be fun. And at the end of the night, when I look back, I kind of did feel like a jerk. I was getting a little aggravated, because he was trying to have conversations, and I was trying to play a game, but he was also trying to play the game, and I'm like, no, we gotta fit. I was in the zone, okay? And I expected to beat him like 38 to 10. I beat him 31 to 14. And that was not the beatdown I was expecting or hoping for, which made me kind of upset. But first off, one of those was from a fumble that I could not have controlled that he ran all the way back, and the other one was just a lucky throw. He had to punt a lot. I had time of possession way more. The score did not do that game justice, and it also should have been 38 to 14 because hold on. Got a phone call here. Let me hit the pause button really quick. I just got an invitation to go to a pool this afternoon, but I'm not in a pool body at all. And it's like a pool place that's not even the first people who's invited us to use it. So that seems like an idea. Anyway, what was I talking about? No, at one point I got what should have been a pick six. Okay, the guy's running it all the way back. Wait a second. No, it wasn't a pick six, but it was a long run where I should have gotten all the way away. And son of a gun, this guy, I hate Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's a jerk. He starts celebrating. He wasn't the ball carrier. I can't remember who I was who was the ball carrier. But he starts like waving his arms in the air like, oh yeah, we got this win, we're going to win it. Hold on. I got to make sure this is, am I going through the right microphone? Just a second. Oh man, I have not been talking. This is silly. Oh well, we're gonna finish the show like this. It doesn't matter. This whole microphone has been completely in vain. I thought I was using. I thought I had been using my blue snowball this whole time. Excuse me. It doesn't really matter. I can still hear my voice, I'm guessing, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Anyway, he starts celebrating, and there's a guy right there, and I'm like, dude, pick up your block. He's right there. He's going to tackle me. Doesn't pick him up, doesn't do anything. I get tackled. It should have been a touchdown. All he needed was a little push-off to get that guy, throw off his stride. I would have been perfectly fine, but no. He decides to celebrate preemptively, and I wind up throwing an interception on the very next play. Which, I guess, yeah, that is my fault, but that should have been a touchdown had ODB just picked up his block. That guy I think he's really overhyped. I mean, he made that one game, one catch as a New York Giant, makes that one catch, and then all of a sudden everyone's talking about him like he's the greatest receiver ever. You know, what competition does he really have? I don't think he has much of any. I mean, I don't know. I am enjoying the meme that's finally going around that I've been saying for a long, long time, that the Browns are overrated. We can go back and look back at. Oh, by the way, I'm going to start writing a little more descriptions in the description when I upload these onto YouTube, because I want to be able to like go through them and decide what is what on it. Anyway, how many? 1,400 divided by 24. Wow, I could record for 58 days with the disk space left on my computer. I was going through my laptop today, and I think I once found a flash drive just lying on the ground at school, and I thought I was going to take it to the Lost and Found. I guess I didn't, and I found it, and I went through it today. And I try to locate this guy, but, yeah. Anyway, got to clean out my computer, add some more disk space and whatnot. Long story short, though, I won that Madden game, and I think that we're going to play. And then the following day, I had wedding stuff to do. We went to the venue to arrange certain things. Shoot, what else? What else? What else? What else? What's going on here? I started over Red Dead Redemption 2. I know I'm not going to play all the way through it. Apparently, Rockstar's next video game is going to be a Bully sequel. Should be pretty cool. I'm hoping they do an LA Noire sequel. That game was awesome. I need to buy that game for, it's on the PlayStation 4, so I don't know why I wouldn't do that. Let's see, GTA 4 release date. When did that game come out? April 29th of 2008. Okay, and then LA Noire release date. When was that released? It was May 17th, 2011. I remember buying that game from Kmart, and I think it was marked down quite a bit. And then I guess the next game after that was Grand Theft Auto 6. Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, that was such a great game. And a great story, and I spoiled the epilogue for myself. I'm not going to talk about that. How many times have I talked about this game? Let's talk about your week. I did my first service call, beginning to end, on my own, on site, on Friday. I gotta say, I was pretty nervous, but, you know, I did the first one, then I did this one, and I'm getting better at what I'm doing. I'm feeling more confident going in. You gotta remember that you're there to help. You will get irate customers at times. I happily did not experience any of that. I've got some guys who said it's never happened to them. And so, yeah, I guess it's just when you have to deliver bad news, and it also depends on what modality you're working on. I don't want to talk about work, and over the weekend I was like, oh man, I've got to go back to work on Monday, but then at the same time it's like, well, relax, you are only associating it with bad memories because you were so freaking nervous on Friday. When you actually think about the work that there is to do, it's actually quite satisfying and quite enjoyable. Seeing something broken, figuring out what's wrong, and then fixing it, it's actually quite satisfying work. There's just that interpersonal and customer service aspect of it that can be a little overwhelming at times. So 1930s. I'm feeling like watching a 1930s movie tonight. There's some good movies out there like that. What's that? M. Alright, I need to get back to, how long is that movie? The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1939. That did well. It's hard to find decent movies at the time that, I don't know, I might watch Stagecoach tonight. That sounds kind of good, but I need to get back on topic. I should probably pick out what it is I want to watch later and not do it right when I decide is the best time. That looks pretty good, though. Anyway, what language is that in? What language? What language is M in? Is the movie M? Alright, anyway, it's got a pretty good rating. I might watch that tonight. It's kind of obnoxious of me to do that midway. I'm recently reading this book. Not reading, listening. I don't read books. I love audiobooks. I've given the spiel a million times. I always seem to be coming back to Stephen King, man. He just consistently has some really good, really good, excuse me, I mean, not all of them are great, but a lot of them are just real hookers. Real hookers. You know what I mean. Jeez. You know what I'm talking about. It's called 1922. And when I finish the book, I'd like to, apparently Netflix made an original movie out of it. I love that era, just that time period during the there was the Roaring 20s and then the Great Depression. That movie, Gold Diggers of 1933. I enjoy that film. I didn't care for the ending. But what else was it? Was it The Gay Divorcee? That was a pretty good one. Was it shot in English though? Because I don't want to sit there and try to figure out. Okay, country language. Okay, it's in German, so I'm not gonna. That one's just a little too. Yeah, for me. Best movies of 1940s. Let's try that. See if there's anything good there. I went through a phase where I was watching a lot of. Oh, what's it called? The for Pete's sake, why can't I remember it? Alfred Hitchcock movies, and so many of them, they were good after the next, and then I hit one that wasn't quite as good, and it sort of just turned me off to them. I shouldn't think that, but that's what wound up happening, because, I just, it's hard, it killed the momentum of it, and, just went off with it, and I would like to get back into watching those, but maybe I can find a different one to look at. I always found that the best novels of, like, movies that had great novels, it's pointless to watch them, and I've said this in you're familiar with my spiel on how the book isn't always better than the movie, but whenever there's a really, really good book, it's rare that it has an equally good movie, because you're just going to compare it to it. It's not going to speak to you the same way that movie spoke to you. So, what are you gonna do? What genre is that? I gotta pick up, because I haven't watched many movies this weekend, and I'd really like to. Was thinking of watching one last night, but decided against it. More of the loud noise that doesn't really contribute at all to this show. I went to a Guitar Center last night. I've been thinking about how I really would like to get back into music. Like, when I was in high school, it was just like every day of my life I was doing it, and I wasn't even that good. But I was getting better. And once you take some time off, the thrill that keeps you moving forward and getting better is when you're doing something new. And that's what makes the work worth it. But when you've already been on that territory and you're having to work to get back, it makes it hard to get that momentum going again. And, I don't know, I was looking at, like, hammer action pianos, but, you're gonna have to drop at least $500 if you want one of those. And it's not that I couldn't, but it would be pretty irresponsible of me to do that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I don't know. I tried looking on Craigslist for some used pianos that were hammer action, but couldn't really find any. And the other part of me is like, well, maybe you should just get a non-hammer action one, just because then in that case, like, if you're serious about it, if you're serious, the hammer action won't make or break what you do. So if I'm going to be good at it, whether or not I have a hammer action isn't going to make the difference. But at the same time, it's like, if I'm going to go in, I should go all in. That would just be an inefficient waste of time. I don't know. I do not know. What if they make hammer action keyboards that aren't 88 keys? That's the thing. I found this, like, DVD set of, like, teaching you to play piano, and the first thing the guy says is, you're gonna need an 88 key thing in order to do this right. It's like, oh, dang it. How do they make hammer action keys that aren't actually hammered when they're digital? I wonder what the method to that is. Who knows? Who cares? I kind of care, to answer my own question. So yeah, this is day. What day is it? How many days have I gone without a drink? I think this is like the 5th day. The last day I did was the 27th, so I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is day 6, so tomorrow it'll be a week without it. I don't want to be that guy who all he does is sit around and talk about how he doesn't drink anymore. But I don't know. It's hard to. I've already opened Pandora's box, so there's not much more I can do about it. Yeah, like, I remember when, what's his name, Sober October was a thing, and all those guys, that's all they did was talk about how great their life is without alcohol and everything. Like, oh, I'm going back to it, and look at me, I'm doing exactly what I'm saying. I find annoying. It's a thing when you give it up, and then you walk down the grocery store and you see all the different beers that you never tried and that you'd like to. Look, I'm just not curious. The truth is, even now, when I crave, like, oh, how nice would a drink be right now, I'm not a curious person when it comes to alcohol. I like what I like. You know, I enjoy I really enjoy just American lagers and some whiskey. Sometimes I'll mix it with soda water or gin and tonic. Those are my things. That's what I like. So, 100 days does sound like a long time, but honestly, it's really not. And I think it'd be good, especially when I wimped out. I only made it like 2 weeks through Lent this year. So, since I broke that, it was the day they said that Mueller released it and that no further indictments were recommended. Oh, that's what I should have talked about for the top story. It was Mueller releasing he made a statement this week. Yeah, I remember that was on a day where I stayed extremely late in Dayton, Ohio. And got some overtime. That was cool. But it was a good time. Alright, that was strange. I just had to export this thing down and open another track. For some reason it wouldn't let me open it back up. But no matter. I have the thing recording again, and that was a good problem-solving system. I need to get that as used to equipment that I work on as I am with working this Audacity crap thing. That's the only software I use to record any of this, and it all sounds like garbage anyway. But yeah, so 94 days left. Hopefully, people always talk about, I've heard people say you have no idea how long a year is until you do it sober. But, I mean, that's a good thing, because time keeps moving so fast, so hey, maybe I'll be able to slow down time a little bit more. Then I guess then you discover the loophole that a lot of life is not that exciting, and it's okay that it moves fast. I saw this video about this guy. He's like, how much time you really have left. Because when you take away sleep and work and all of that, he's like, you may think you have 60 years left, but in reality, if you work for the weekend, you've only got about 7. And I'm like, dude, no one thought they literally had like 60 years of just weekend left. You know, that leisure time is just one part of life. I mean, I don't dread what I do. I don't love it, but I don't dread it. I don't know, that video kind of annoyed me. Maybe it's because it made me face some uncomfortable truths about myself and everything. Who knows? Who knows? But, you know, there goes another week down the drain. Me doing this. I can't believe I'm still making these. It's coming up on a year that I've been consistently doing these without missing a week. Kind of crazy. It helps when you have... I mean, I don't have an excuse to never sit down for a half hour and babble. So that's that. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, go Toronto, and we're cheering for the Bruins, so let's see how that goes. See ya. Bye.
With the